I saw this story on Instagram and had to talk about it, especially since I have not done a real solid feel good story in weeks. These months that have passed have just been filled with just nothing but grief, sadness, tragedy, anger, despair, destruction. It feels like it's just been Armageddon on my channel. But now I want to talk about something that is very, 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 I guess you could say lighthearted. It's bittersweet, but it's lighthearted at the same time. But in this picture, you see two people. On the left is WNBA superstar Maya Moore, who in my opinion is probably one of the best WNBA players of all time, in my honest opinion. And on the right is a man by the name of Jonathan Irons. And Maya Moore used her, I guess you say, her abilities to help overturn this man's conviction. Jonathan Irons was serving a 50-year prison sentence for a crime he did not commit. After 22 years in prison, with the help of Maya Moore, he was able to be released from prison and have his conviction overturned. WNBA star Maya Moore has spoken of her relief after successfully helping a man overturn his conviction when he served 22 years in prison. Jonathan Irons had been handed a 50-year sentence for burglary and assaulting a homeowner with a gun, but the decision was overturned in March and he walked free Wednesday. Moore, who sat out an entire season to help overturn the conviction, was one of the first to embrace him following his release. Now that's very commendable. Did y'all hear that? This woman sat out an entire WNBA season. Let me remind you that the WNBA does not get paid well. They do not get paid well at all. It's people who work regular jobs who get paid more than them annually. And she sacrificed an entire basketball season to work on this man's case, and it paid off for both of them. It paid off for her because it means that she didn't waste or lose an entire season, quote unquote, and he ended up being a free man. So I definitely commend her for that. In an appearance alongside Irons on ABC Good Morning America, Moore said she finally felt like she could rest after standing for so long. It was an unplanned moment where I just felt relief, and it was kind of a worshipful moment. She said Thursday, speaking of the moment Irons was released, just dropping to my knees and being so thankful we made it. Moore, who had met Irons in 1998 in a prison ministry, is considered one of the greatest women's basketball players, but has announced she will skip a second WNBA season to focus on criminal justice reform. When I stepped away from the court 2 springs ago, I really wanted to shift my priorities to be able to be more available and present to show up for things that I felt were mattering more than being a professional athlete. So this is obviously one of the biggest and most direct results of that. After serving 22 years in prison, Irons said he did not blame his accuser in any way and wants to focus his time on helping others in the same position as he was. I believe at some point, if not already, he's going to be hit with a lot of guilt, and I want to let him know that he has a safe place to rest because I do forgive him. There is a lot to adjust out here, and I'm going to take it slow, and I'm surrounded by people I know who love me and have my best interests in mind. I'll listen to them and study and learn all I can. When I get the time and opportunity and the resources and the provision, I want to be able to reach back and help other people. That's just simply amazing. Like, I can't even stress. I can't even really put more into words how amazing that is. Like, this woman sacrificed her one WNBA season to help this man, and now she says she's about to sacrifice another one to continue to do it for somebody else. I think, in my honest opinion, outside of basketball, Maya Moore may have found her calling, to be quite honest. But shout out to her. Shout out to this guy right here. Hopefully he gets some restitution. They should give him $1 million for every year that he's been in jail, so that equals out to $22 million. You give him some more for interest, because for time lost, because you can't get that time back. So I thought it was also interesting that they said they met back in 1998. So she's known this guy for a while. So she's known this guy for well over 20 years. But he's talking about 22 years. So, and here we are 22 years later, and she stayed in contact with him. And it sounds like to me like she was determined, even maybe from the get-go, to help this guy out. And see, these are the type of stories you don't really hear about that. I'm actually kind of surprised I ended up on seeing this website, but that don't mean a thing, because if it doesn't make it onto quote unquote the big screen, then it really doesn't matter. But shout out to both of them. Hopefully he's able to pick up the pieces of the life that, well, I don't know if he can do that because that time has passed. That's why I hate doing stories like these. And all the time I do stories like these with these wrongful convictions, it usually always turns out to be a black man that ends up in the position. But that's really all I have to say. Y'all let me know what y'all think.